Once again, viewer discretion is advised. If you know any of the 3 people that will be discussed throughout this video, you may want to bypass. It may be triggering for some. Everything in this video is alleged. Any opinions in this video is solely mine. Atlanta, Georgia, October 30th, 2019. They were very good friends. Some would say best friends. Some had even said like sisters. But we know that good friends, best friends, and most definitely sisters have disagreements with one another. More than likely, they both forgive each other and they go back to their caring and loving ways, right? Alex Crawford and Jordyn Jones, both 21, were seniors at Clark University in Atlanta, a private, predominantly black Methodist university. They also shared an off-campus apartment together on McDaniel Street. They did everything together, whether it was shopping, going to restaurants, talking about guys, but most definitely going to parties where alcohol was served. Come on, they're young. They just want to have a good time. Jordyn had a boyfriend. His name is Baron Brantley. He was also 21.
Yeah, come with the mid first box. Ooh, splash. Strike drip, man.
At 6'1", he definitely is quite handsome, with a boyish, innocent look. Like when he grows into himself, he could probably be a model. He talks about himself being a proud Christian as well, telling his followers on social media to, quote, stay prayed up, end quote. He also refers to himself as an entertainer, an aspiring rapper, if you will. This guy who puts God first, charismatic, who dreams to be a rapper. He seemed harmless enough. A young woman who knew him well back in grade school, she said he'd gotten jumped by 2 girls, and all he did was lie on the ground and curl up in a ball. Okay, he seems really harmless. Now you know when you meet that new person in your life and how you just want to know everything about them, like where you're originally from, how many sisters and brothers do you have, what do you like to do for fun, and our favorites, do you drink, do you smoke? Maybe Baron had told Jordyn about his past and she didn't care. I mean, he's 21. How much of a past could you have? You'd be surprised, right? And Jordyn, by all means, she wasn't an angel herself. She'd been on probation back in Michigan from getting a DUI. So maybe they shared war stories. Baron had a speeding ticket, suspended license, reckless driving, no insurance. Hell, he probably got all that at one stop. He also had been in jail for 2 weeks for family violence, battery, 3rd degree, cruelty to children, and robbery with the intent to take something that wasn't his, and hindering someone from calling the police on him and evading the police. He had received probation and violated it a few times. So, he also had been arrested for 5 times within a 3-year period. But I mean, he was a rapper. And every rapper needs a backstory, doesn't he? But he was so cute, and it didn't involve her. So she went for it. That's how I'm imagining this. Honestly, I have no idea. They could have just met each other, hopped in a sack, and it was a done deal. I have no idea how people in their 20s talk to each other. Anyway, he goes by the name Baron Bad News Brantley. on his social media page. Yep, that's what he calls himself. Bad news. And he would make sure he lived up to that name before either young lady finished their education at Clark University. One would be murdered, and the other would be the murderer. On the outside looking in, yeah, that's what I'm doing. But people who were around these two and knew them well, they all said that they were pretty close, although Alexis and Jordyn had very different personalities. Jordyn, she was more distant and she kept to herself. Alexis was more sweet and welcoming. But opposites attract, right? Maybe they balanced each other out. A psychologist I read online, she said that she studied this friendship and she believed that they had a love-hate relationship. She said they may have loved and cared for each other on the surface, but deep down, there's a lot of resentment. Why? What resentment? They were attending the same school, staying together, sharing secrets. The times that they didn't even have to be around each other, they opted to be. That seemed like friendship to me. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Jordyn Jones is from Auburn Hills, Michigan. She was raised by both parents who have been together for over 30 years. I believe she has an older sister. Her father is a church deacon and a law enforcement officer. So, it looks like she came from a decent, structured home, right? Outside looking in. I'm imagining her family may have been a little bit on the stricter side, but still giving their daughter everything they wanted to give her at the same time. It didn't seem like she'd been abused in any kind of way. I mean, we would have heard about it in court now. That's why she liked going to Alexis's family so much on the holidays. I mean, it was more fun there. I mean, your dad is a deacon and a cop. You aren't going to get away with too much in front of him. And then there was Alexis Crawford. She was raised in Athens, Georgia, and she has 7 siblings. Matter of fact, one of the siblings attended Clark. I believe it was her brother. She's also a Christmas time baby. She was like a gift. I mean, all babies are a gift, but she was like a Christmas present. She was born on December 23rd. And it looks like Jordyn was born sometime around Christmas too. Both Christmas babies, so maybe that was their connection. They were Christmas gifts. And like Alexis's family would say, they were, quote, 2 peas in a pod. Alexis is very close to her family and very close to her parents. Though she was miles away, she would check in with her mom to let her know that she was okay, and she texted her sister frequently. Alexis was attending Clark's, studying social justice and criminology. And I imagine looking forward to graduation. So, we normally hear about people we don't know for 2 reasons. Either it's bad or it's really bad. On October 26th, Alexis was consuming alcohol with her friend Jordyn and Jordyn's boyfriend Barrett. He was there. He had actually came back from an outing where he was at earlier, where he was consuming alcohol. So, all 3 were drinking, laughing, talking, having a really good time. Some probably a bit more intoxicated than others. I imagine this wasn't their first time with moments like this. So, what was so different about this moment? Jordyn had actually felt sick. she'd thrown up, and she went to her room to go to bed. Alexis would continue to have a few more drinks with Baron, but then it got weird. Baron started to rub and kiss her shoulders. Alexis was not feeling this at all. She would ask him what was he doing, and he replied that he thought she was Jordyn. Yeah. So Alexis decided she was going to call it a night. Now remember, she's pretty hammered at this moment. She gets up and she's headed down the hallway, stumbling a bit, a little disorientated, to head back to her room. Baron was following. I don't think she knew that Baron was following. She gets to her room, and then she gets to her bathroom. Baron was behind her the entire time. When she got inside her bathroom, she blacked out, and she had fallen down. Baron locked the door behind them. Jordyn, she gets up. She gets up to go to the bathroom or to go looking for her man. I don't know, maybe both. She goes into the living room and she doesn't see Alexis and Baron. They're no longer there. She heads to Alexis's room. She sees the bathroom door is closed. Her heart starts beating. She starts banging on the bathroom door. I mean, she's banging on the bathroom door hard. Her boyfriend and her best friend are in there? The door is shut and it's locked. I can really imagine how she felt at this moment. Your boyfriend, your best friend, the betrayal. She's trying everything to get in. The door had finally flung open, and the first thing that Baron says to Jordyn is, quote, "I didn't touch her. I didn't rape her," end quote. He's shirtless. He hadn't been shirtless earlier. Jordyn looks over at Alexis. Alexis was passed out, unconscious, on the bathroom floor. She only had been wearing her bra. She was naked from the waist down. It's also reported a pair of cut panties was found in the bathroom. Jordyn and Baron, they had gotten into an argument whether or not he had kissed Alexis. Baron then, he takes Jordyn's keys to her car and he fled in it. I read that Alexis may have been in and out of consciousness and she had bickered a little bit with Jordyn about the situation. Now that seems true to me because I believe Jordyn really wanted to know what was going on. She really strikes me as a person who knows the truth, sees the truth, but yet she fixes it in her mind to ignore it. And we all know people like that. Now, I'm not sure how these next two events happen, but they happened. The police was called, as well as a woman who had graduated from Clark's University 10 years earlier. We'll call her Brianna. She's also a friend of Jordyn's sister. So, Jordyn had told Brianna that her car had been stolen by Baron and that, quote, something had happened to my friend, end quote. So Jordyn was acknowledging that something lewd had happened to Alexis. I mean, she's on the floor, pretty much naked from the waist down, panties cut, and your boyfriend's shirtless, and he just ran away, stealing your car. When Brianna arrived, Alexis is still on the floor. She is uncontrollably crying. She tells Brianna that she had been sexually assaulted by Baron.
Atlanta 911, operator 7378. What's the address of the emergency?
McDaniel Street.
What's the street name?
McDaniel Street.
What's the apartment number? You need police, fire, EMS.
Yes, because my ex-boyfriend just stole my car. He took my keys and ran, and I'm about to.
What kind of car you got?
A 2017 red Chevy Cruze.
You know your tag number?
No. 1 second. I could get it.
It's okay. You don't have to have it right now as long as you have it when the officers get there, okay?
Okay.
What's your name?
Jordyn Jones.
All right, Miss Jones.
Jordyn.
All right. Is there a gate code in your car, please?
Huh?
Is there a gate code?
Open.
All right. We'll get an office out for you.
And it's Michigan plate.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That 911 call was placed at 1:01 a.m. Now it's believed to be the call in its entirety. But did you notice? Jordyn had said nothing about what had happened to her friend to the police. Only her car. And she says ex-boyfriend, so maybe throwing up had cleared her mind temporarily for a little bit. The police, the fire department, and the paramedics arrived to the department on McDaniel Street, and they both speak with Alexis and Jordyn. Now, in some articles, it says that Alexis was very hesitant to speak with the police about the allegations. Was she lying? Of course not. Was she confused, perhaps, and most definitely still intoxicated? Or was she just hoping that this whole thing would just go away? I'm thinking that more and more. She continued to discuss the unwanted advances, and that Baron was trying to kiss her neck and touch her, and he had followed her inside her room and in the bathroom, and then she passed out, and she couldn't quite remember everything. A police report was filed. On October 27th, some articles say the 28th, a rape kit was done at Grady's Hospital in Atlanta. Everything would be found out if Alexis had been sexually assaulted in any way by Baron. Baron, the cutie, the believer in God, the aspiring rapper who needs a backstory. No, I wouldn't listen to any rap about that. His DNA had been found inside her, and she had been sodomized. I am sure that Jordyn found out, and this information, it was heartbroken. I'm sure it hurt her. I mean, she's 21. Honestly, this may have been the first real hurt that she had of that type of magnitude. I mean, what did she say to her friend, her best friend, her sister, her pea in a pod? I'll stand by you. We will make sure he pays for what he has done to you. I'm so sorry that this has happened. He's a pig. Or if Alexis was my friend, let's find his ass before the cops do. But no, she doesn't say any of that. And if she had, she would do the total opposite hours later. She would sneak him back into the apartment. Oh my God, she really did this. Alexis was even home, and she didn't have a clue that Baron was in the apartment just feet away. Jordyn even went to class and she even left Barron in the apartment. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why wasn't Barron arrested? Now, it's probably before the DNA test was done that the police report was filed. And in that police report, it only says unwanted touching and kissing. The police don't normally go around searching for somebody that tried to kiss you. She hadn't had the rape allegation in the original police report, is what I am gathering. And besides, if the police were looking for Barron, for questioning at least, I'm not sure that they would go to Alexis's house to find him. Alexis had told her other friends that she was terrified to stay in her bedroom, terrified of him. She slept in the living room on the sofa, I guess, so she could see who was entering and exiting the apartment. I mean, she wasn't taking any chances. Now, pay attention to this part, because there are 3 versions of this story: hers, his, and the truth. Now, don't fall, Alexis. I mean, she's young. Probably a little on the naive side and has a trusting nature. That's how I'm feeling about her. She's 21. Sometimes the best decisions aren't always made in your 20s. On October 30th, I believe Alexis had a FaceTime call with her mother. Her mother said she really enjoyed seeing her daughter's smiling face. Around 8:44 p.m., Alexis, her sister, Alexandria, had texted her and asked, was she doing anything for the weekend? And Alexis simply replies, nothing. And there wasn't any more communication with the sisters. But later on that night, Alexis would go to the liquor store with Jordyn. I know, right? After all this, that would be the last thing that you need to do. I have no clue of whose idea this was, but like I said, you don't normally make all your best decisions in your 20s. So let's just say both of them, both Jordyn and Alexis, decided to drink again. So Alexis went inside and Jordyn did drive her up to the liquor store. Then Alexis would vanish. Jordyn had no clue what happened to her. She had only said that she had given her a ride to the liquor store and that she'd seen her in her room later on, but that she was gone in the morning. Her phone, it was gone. The charger was still there. The apartment keys were still there, which is very funny because there's a deadbolt on the apartment door, and Jordyn said that the deadbolt was locked. Jordyn had started to post very distressing messages on her social media about her missing friend. She said things like, "Thank you, everyone that isn't being negative in my DM. And this is obviously a difficult time for me right now, and I just feel helpless. My heart is really hurting now." She would make her Instagram private around this time. She would also speak with Alexis's family, and she told them that their daughter was missing and that she had no clue of where she was. And she also added that the DNA evidence had came back and it was nothing. It was definitely not Barron's. What? Why? Why would she say that? That wasn't even the truth and she knew it. That floored me right there. She either thinks that Alexis' family is so dumb and they wouldn't find this information out on their own, or she is so smart and that they would believe her. Because it makes no sense. Like my mother would say, not for all the tea in China. This was by far not over. The Crawfords, they had a child missing, and after a sexual assault, missing flyers were passed out. Alexis' parents were heartbroken. They prayed for the answers to find their daughter. Mr. Crawford, broken into pieces, would say this.
Hold on to your kids. Love them. Talk to them. Appreciate them and listening to them. Don't stop listening to your kids.
This was not only the talk of the university and the talk of Atlanta. It was all over social media. Anyone who had been following this situation was asking, where is this girl? Jordyn was catching hell, so to speak. She had started to withdraw from school. Matter of fact, she completely stopped going and signed out, and her parents knew this, and they had been making arrangements to come and get her. On social media and at the school. Was she lying, they asked. Jordyn knows where Alexis is, they said. Alexis had refused to drop the charges, and now she's missing, they said. Now back to that night of October 30th. After the final text from her sister, Alexis would later go to the liquor store with Jordyn, not knowing that Baron was still in the apartment, not knowing that Baron had never left the apartment. After arriving back from the liquor store, who even know if the two girls had drank again? I'm trying to say that alcohol may have fueled the fire, but actually, with the way that things were going with these two, anything could have fueled this fire. Sources said that their relationship had become strained. Alexis and Jordyn would get into a verbal argument. It turned physical. Baron, hiding in the bedroom, hears the altercation, and he comes running out the bedroom. Now, it was asked by the detective, was he trying to break up the fight? Now, this is the first time that Alexis has seen Baron since the night of the assault. And he comes running out the room. He's running straight towards Alexis. She had to be in sheer shock. A nightmare. And no, he wasn't trying to break up the fight. He added to it. He began to strangle Alexis. Jordyn runs and she gets a trash bag and she puts it over her best friend's head. She forgot to tell the detective that. However, Baron would remind her. Alexis tried to fight, but she couldn't. She managed to put a hole through the bag and gasp for a little bit of air. Baron told the detectives, quote, she was in agony, end quote. The detective would ask, how did you know that she was dead? They both replied at different times. She stopped moving. They would put Alexis's body in a plastic blue bin that Jordyn was going to have trouble explaining to her parents why it was missing. But she had that covered. She asked a friend to say that she had borrowed it and hadn't gave it back yet, and there were screenshots of this conversation that was later given to the detective. There was a little bit of blood in the apartment, like a drop in Jordyn's bathroom sink. I think a sponge with some hair and maybe a little bit of blood on it. I mean, it was nothing dramatic like a bloody crime scene, otherwise to the naked eye. Surveillance footage of the apartment shows Jordyn's car being backed up. Now it's out of frame for about 15 minutes. Later, it pulls off at 3:17 a.m. and it returns back at 4:09 a.m. Bad News had been driving the car. The young couple arrived and would go inside the apartment and they would go to sleep. They probably was very tired after a night of murdering and transporting a body. The next evening, these two devils would prepare for a Halloween party like nothing ever happened. Psychopath much? Then back to Michigan for Jordyn. That's right, she finally returned back home. She left her boyfriend. I wonder, did she feel like she was in the clear? I wonder if she even communicated with Bad News when she got back home. Did she try to forget about everything that had happened, like it was just a nightmare and it was finally over? But she wasn't home for long. During an investigation with the Fulton County Police in Atlanta, they had asked her to come back for questioning. They said she voluntarily came back. She came along with her father, the deacon cop. I'm wondering how she caught her dad up on everything that was going on. You know, like murdering her friend and then dumping her body. Now let me pause right there for just a second. Jordyn, she wasn't really a good friend at all. Hell, she wasn't even a good girlfriend. After this happens to Alexis, someone suggests drinking. Remember, Alexis was assaulted from getting too intoxicated and having a maniac around her, and Jordyn had gotten sick, but yet they want to go for drinks like the next day. Remember, I said you don't normally make your best decisions in your 20s. So they go back to the apartment, and again, Alexis doesn't know that Baron is there. Sometimes I wonder in my head, was this premeditated? Was they going to try to see if they could coerce her into dropping the charges? And then when it didn't work, that's when the verbal confrontation with the girls had came into play, then later followed by the physical assault. Why did Jordyn get a trash bag? Some things just is going through my mind. Was Baron just trying to scare Alexis? But Alexis died of asphyxiation. They both worked together to do this. It takes less than 10 seconds to go into being unconscious if someone is strangling you. And then 5 minutes, death can occur. Now, Jordyn and her father and some detectives, they went to several different parks. I thought that maybe Jordyn was stalling because they went to a few parks, but she wasn't from Atlanta, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, so I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. On November 8th, the body of Alexis Crawford was found at Exchange Park. She had fallen out of the bin by this time, but it was right next to her body. The hoodie she was wearing on the CCC footage, it was used to bind her hands and her arms together. There was a blue T-shirt wrapped around her neck. The trash bag with a hole in it, it was there as well. She had been wrapped in a blue blanket, and there was a white powdery substance on her body. Police think that it was baby powder. I think it was Ajax. The powdery substance had never been publicly said for testing. I never found out what it was. I think that these children actually thought that they were going to get away with this sloppy, sloppy crime. I mean, Alexis, all wrapped up around everything blue. Blue bin, blue tea, blue blankets. I'd bet $1,000 that Jordyn's favorite color is blue. I mean, did she? Did they understand that Alexis comes from a caring family that was determined to find her and get to the bottom of what had happened to her and fight for justice for her? Jordyn, even, I believe, in a bragging kind of way, says that she didn't clean up the crime scene as if that made her less guilty than Barron. So now by November 9th, everybody that needed to be was in jail. On November 10th, a vigil is held. On November 16th, the televised funeral of Alexis Crawford's homegoing was streamed on YouTube. I couldn't get through it. I shed tears. I never met these people, but I shed tears for Alexis, her short life ending after trusting and just being naive, just being 21. I shed tears for the parents that sent their daughter to be educated, and she was murdered by a young woman they fed and allowed in their home on the holidays and treated her like another child of theirs. Even Jordyn's family, who they don't speak much in the press, I shed tears for them as well, because they had no idea that their daughter was out there carrying on in this manner. I'm pretty sure that they were expecting greatness from her. Jordyn had posted, I'm not sure the exact date of this posted, but it said, quote, "Y'all, the first picture is a super throwback, but I just want to be this pretty and happy again because college got me stressed the fuck out and I can't sleep," end quote. She probably talked to her friend Alexis about why she was so stressed out. I mean, Alexis was probably stressed out too. They were both in college, away from home, and having to pull these grades. Did Jordyn talk to her parents about why she was stressed the fuck out? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not making excuses for what happened, but maybe, just maybe, things would have happened a little bit differently if something was brewing in Jordyn's head that she couldn't control. Maybe she needed to talk to her parents. I don't know. But maybe it wouldn't have ended up like this.
Come on, come on, come on.
You can have your seat. I've asked the youngest sister, Alexandria Crawford, who is a student at Georgia State University, and their oldest brother, Derek Carter, to make remarks on behalf of their siblings. Hear them, please.
I would like to share with you all one of Alexis' last texts with me. On Monday, Alexis texted me all this is in God's plan. It'll work out for me. Praying it will. After this text, I remember acknowledging the strength and the love Alexis carried in her heart. She refused to live her life with guilt and fear. She put her faith in God. God was her walk through her hard times. So now we should take her lead and lean on God. God will be our guidance through this heartache. She's now living through us, and I'm living for her. Long live Lex.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Derek. I'm Lex's oldest brother. If Lexis was here today, she wouldn't want us to cry and sit with our heads down. She would want us to celebrate the beautiful, cheerful, kindness, thoughtful, caring, and loving life she had. She is now close to us than she was before. I can rest better now knowing that she's in heaven with our grandmother and aunt.
Y'all stay right here. You see how loving and wonderful and honorable these young people are. I want you all to know that people all over the country and around the world, God is going to turn this tragedy into triumph in your life. My hope as the Spirit of God gives me utterance, you all are going to love each other a little bit more. I hadn't planned on doing this, but I'm obedient to the Spirit of God. Captain Toole, will you bring Tammy and Bobby up here? I just want us to pray for them. Is that all right? Tammy, Bobby. We will never know how they feel. Those of you who know the power of prayer. Annette, I want you to just pray right now that God would do what only He can do. We can love them, we can support them, we can stand by them, we can stand with them. But only God can heal.
Jordyn and Barron both tried for bond in 2019, and it was denied. Jordyn would try again a year later. She had took a mental assessment, and they said that she had no mental problems. And besides the DUI, that's all that she had on her criminal record. Headlines: one of Alexis Crawford's killers may be going free. I know this probably put Alexis's family in a panic. Was this true? Was they going to actually let the people that it took her daughter's life go free? This is a quote from Tammy Crawford, Alexis's mother. Quote, I cannot imagine a judge granting Jordyn the freedom to walk around until trial, while Alexis will never get to walk around anywhere ever again. It would be a slap to the face of me and my family, and essentially spit on Alexis's grave, end quote. Jordyn's bond was denied yet again. They figured she may start to threaten witnesses, change facts, yeah. But good thing that they did deny her. The DA will not be seeking the death penalty. What started off so promising ended up so ominous. Was the psychologist right? Was this a love-hate relationship? Jordyn clearly wasn't a good friend. Her intentions of being friends with Alexis was questioned when Alexis was alive. I can see a little bit of manipulation, the narcissism, her cunning behavior, like she was a time bomb, just ready to go off. But Jordyn and Baron, they did this together. They worked as a team. They should both get life, just right then and there. Never be free again outside of a cage. Let the girl be transported to a prison near Michigan so that her parents could go and see her. Let the boy stay right there in Atlanta since he's so comfortable with the Fulton County criminal system. But I'm not a judge, so I don't know. But we are awaiting a verdict in this case. But there are no winners here. We have 3 young, beautiful people with hope, promise, and dreams. They could have done whatever they wanted, went wherever they wanted to go. But one night of drinking together would put in order a rape, an assault, fighting, lying, a murder cover-up, and no future for any one of them. On Baron Bad News Brentley's Instagram, he had posted a meme. It says, quote, "I wish living brought us together like death does," end quote. What a double conundrum. My condolences to Alexis's family. Justice